You want to grow this thing? End the inward fighting. That's it. That's the number one cause of stagnancy in the chiropractic profession. Chiropractors talking shit about other chiropractors. That tribe on 3! 1, 2, 3, that tribe!
Without further ado, please put your hands together and your elbows together to bring and welcome in Dr. Trent.
What if it was that feeling going into your practice every day?
It is.
And I want to talk about some far out idea that could be your reality. That you're so well trained. You're not just proficient, but you're working on excellence. That you show up and you can be joyously abundant. That you could be there in love and service, happy to serve with a smile on your face. That people would fly around the world to come see you for what you provide. What does that feel like? Man, it's so crazy because so much of what is, again, just started as a vision and as an idea. And some of you have a vision or an idea of what your potential practice may become, and maybe you're not all the way there yet and you're really just thinking about boards or graduating. But I'm here to tell you, if you're willing to show up every single day and just take one step further towards your dreams, that you have the potential within you to see it realized. It was just a couple months ago that we were here in July, and the night before, I'm in meditation with my wife. We have our little evening routine of connection, and I'm sitting across from her. I just started sobbing because I was prepping for the biggest camp of my life. We had 135 people show up. But there were so many times that I had to keep telling her, just believe, babe. Keep the faith. And so many signs were saying to stop. You know, how many times are you willing to show up for a camp and take a loss? How many hours of sleep are you willing to lose? What are you willing to sacrifice? But we stayed in it. We stayed in it. Because the truth is that, you know, sometimes your vision and that light at the end of the tunnel feels like a pinhole. But what it feels like is every day that you step in, consider yourself with a pickaxe. And you're just taking one more shot at that massive wall of rock. And maybe it just opens up just a little bit more. But again, if you stay in, you keep showing up, you keep the faith, then I can guarantee you the universe will organize in your favor. Especially when you're led by Spirit. Especially when you're connected to something greater than yourself. Because I can tell you right now, if it's about the ego and the small self, you don't stand a shot. Because the ego don't like judgment. The ego don't like ridicule. The ego don't like hearing that looks ridiculous. So then how do you get outside yourself? And how do you serve something greater than yourself? See, there's a vision that's very strong in me. And it started once I heard the true principle of chiropractic. And there's a universal intelligence in all matter that continually gives to it all of its properties and actions, thus maintaining it in existence. See, because there was a time in my life where I lost religion, grew up Christian. And I was searching for God outside of self. And then I realized this God, universal intelligence and love, is in all things. And so the thing that I had been looking for was always within me. And that when I decided to look within and stop running from my problems and stop running from my pain and stop running from my shame, that I could actually heal. See, healing is revealing your already wholeness. So what do we as chiropractors have the opportunity to do? To shine that sacred mirror for people that allows them to see the depths of their self. But that mirror will only shine to a certain depth based on the work you've done within yourself. See, the main way to being a better chiropractor is being a better person. Number one attribute of a chiropractor, being a good listener. Thank God we're having a return to the feminine. Oh yeah, this profession's been very masculine for a long time, and that can only take it so far. As we listen to self, we can listen to other. See, the adjustment is something special, right? That needs to happen at the right place and at the right time. So you may be able to determine the right place, and you may have instrumentation for the right time. And there's extra layers to that. There can be depth in listening in your setup. There can be depth of listening in your approach. There can be depth of listening while the adjustment is happening. And that adjustment happens from within. What'd you know? You only deliver an impulse, but it's the innate intelligence that has to make the adjustment. So the more intimately you are connected with that other human being, the more likely that is to happen. I'm here to speak for chiropractic. Yes, I'm part of a culture, but I'm here to speak for chiropractic. It's time to not just be competent in chiropractic. If you haven't noticed, school systems have developed and evolved in a way that really is trying to not have you be a threat to society. And so they make you medically competent. What we end up with often are second-rate PTs and third-rate MDs and first-rate nothing. And I want you to hear that, not as a threat, but with love. Because I go to a lot of different chiropractic schools, and I often ask this question. You're in a chiropractic school. How many chiropractic books have you read? You know the most common answer? How is that possible? I believe that it is possible for us to truly own the value of the principle. And when we own the value of the principle, we communicate with certainty, with clarity, with love, in a way that holds space for people to truly step into the best of themselves. I got to ask this question. Are there people in here that currently do not feel certain in what you can offer humanity? Because the biggest thing that I notice is a huge confusion on who you're supposed to be when you actually get into chiropractic practice. And that comes from a weak image, a confused image of what you're becoming. I envision a chiropractic profession that owns their value. And by owning your value, you're delivering results. And you're no longer a second-rate MD. You're no longer a third-rate or second-rate PT. And you're a first-rate chiropractor. And by doing so, doesn't it make sense that for the value that you offer, that you would be massively compensated for the value that you offer? Tell me right now, is there ever any reason that a surgeon should make more than a chiropractor? That a pharmacist should make more than a chiropractor? That a medical doctor should make more than a chiropractor? So why are we playing so small? Why are we playing so small? I'm here to inspire you. I started chiropractic school somewhat from the reverse. I actually had been exposed to chiropractic philosophy before getting started. And so I came in reading the green books, I came in reading the history, and I heard about all these miracle cases that was happening in chiropractic, and I came in fired up. And then I go to the student clinic, and I was like, what's this? I heard chiropractic's not a treatment. And then what's the very first questions that everybody's getting asked when they come into the clinic? Your VAS. Tell me about your pain. This ain't about pain, but tell me about your pain. It didn't make any sense. And I said, there's got to be a freaking gap here of why is it that this philosophy says chiropractic is so amazing and it can heal the world, and yet I'm seeing this like very small picture of what is possible in chiropractic in the clinic. We were teaching philosophy, teaching hella science. That's an Oakland word, hella. All the science, plenty of science. But what I noticed, and maybe you've noticed the same thing, the art was lacking. Tell me right now that if you're a chiropractor and your art is your product or your service to humanity, why is your chiropractic technique classes the easiest to pass? You'll get drilled in biochemistry. You might fail something else, right? But everybody gets A's in diversified. Everybody gets A's in Gonstead. Everybody gets A's in upper cervical. Here's the crazy thing. I was in my I think I was like a fourth or fifth quarter student in Diversified 2. And it was a lab day where the person was supposed to deliver an adjustment. The person put me in maximum extension, rotation, pulled my head axially. I had like a grade 2 cervical sprain. I couldn't do a pull-up for 2 months because it caused me that much neck pain. She got an 85 out of 100. I'm like, what is going on here? And so I was an athlete my whole life. I started soccer when I was like 2 or 3, when I could walk basically, and then played everything through college. And I looked at the adjustment, and I'm like, that seems like a physical skill that could be improved by training. And yet wasn't seeing the training, because in the technique classes, you would set up, and then you would say what you're gonna do, but you really wouldn't do it. And then somehow you're supposed to get good at it. Like I've read the studies, of the people that shoot basketballs and then think about shooting basketballs, and it's like, but at the same time, I'm like, this is a neuromotor skill that probably should be trained. It should probably be learned and performed at a high level. And maybe if it's performed at the highest level, we could deliver the results like connecting the physical to the spiritual. So here's the truth. I don't care what technique you do, because they all get results. But are you training your technique? As Ted Williams would say, incessantly. See, there's a beautiful thing about the training process, right? Because you got stages of learning. You have first unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you don't know. Then you have conscious incompetence. You become very very aware that you don't know, right? And then you have conscious competence. You are learning, but you're still having to think about it a lot, right? So you're doing that setup, but you're thinking L to M, S to I, through the plane line of the disc, like all that is still there. And then you reach that fourth stage, unconscious competence, which if you've performed anything in your life, whether it was sport or music or dance, the best performances happen when you get out of the way. Now, Gonstead, he said, I don't adjust till I become the bone. And the adjustment happens through you, not from you. See, if you want to deliver something that is extraordinary, you have to join the extraordinary or the supernatural, which is that something. That's something greater than the small self. That's something greater than the physical self. And I'll tell you, the only way you're going to get there is through unconscious competence. And that's when you start seeing the magic happen. See, the chiropractors back in the day, they went to school until they got the big idea, and that was it. Sometimes it was 4 weeks, sometimes it was 6 weeks, sometimes it was 8 weeks. But they walked with an incredible confidence. And in that confidence, with no self-doubt, they allowed themselves to get out of the way because they knew that they weren't the healer. The intelligence is the healer. Imagine a chiropractic profession where if they don't get well with me, they get well with Nuka. If they don't get well with Nuka, they refer to SOT. If they don't get well with SOT, you refer to AK, whatever it is. But instead, you want to fight with each other. You want to grow this thing? End the inward fighting. That's it. That's the number one cause of stagnancy in the chiropractic profession. Chiropractors talking shit about other chiropractors. Here's a beautiful thing. I just watched this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty baller. It just came out. Little Big Farm. And it's this couple that wants to start a traditional farm. No pesticides, no herbicides. Guess how that farm survived and thrived? Based on its diversity. The more diverse they made that farm, the more it thrived. Meaning they had to have different varieties of fruiting trees and different varieties of gardening and the vegetables. And they had to bring in the farm animals because when they had a gopher problem, you need to bring in the barn owl because the barn owl takes care of the gophers. When they had a snail problem on the trees, you bring in the ducks. The ducks like snails. So what I'm saying is that there are some techniques that are ducks. And I don't mean that in a quack, quack way, but it's like there's some techniques that are ducks. And there's some techniques that are barn owls. But guess what? They're all freaking necessary. All necessary for some people. As long as you are performing it with excellence. Who here? Nobody. I'm not saying. It's a question that answers itself. Nobody here wants to be mediocre. They have a mediocre clinic. I get mediocre results. I got a mediocre household with a mediocre family. We go on mediocre vacations. And we tell mediocre jokes. God, man. I'm like, just end it now. No! I want to go to the places of my dreams. I want to work in a dream practice. I want to have a dream family. And I'm willing to work for it every single day because it matters. And that's the piece that I really want to communicate. I can guarantee you, every single one of you has somebody in your life that you wish you could serve at the highest level. Either here or not here. So when you ask yourself, why do I keep showing up? Why do I keep trying to get through these classes? Why am I taking these boards? Why am I sacrificing sleep? It's for them. I lost my brother in 99. My mom became suicidal with grief. All through chiropractic school, I trained for that. I trained for the person that would lay on the table, who had just experienced a loss, and that potentially by me holding space for them, they would have the strength to live. Three years of training. My second year in practice at the Source Chiropractic, a woman I'd been taking care of walks in the door, and I could tell something was wrong. I said, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" And I swear to you, she said these words, "I'm here for grief." She had just lost her father that week. I had trained so much for this woman that I didn't know it was her. I knew where I was going to adjust her. I knew when she was going to start crying, and I knew how I was going to embrace her. And since that time, I've got to serve a lot of people like that. And so just know that you may not get to serve that one that comes to your mind, but you'll serve somebody in that vibration. And whatever your ideal healing result is, you will create your ideal healing center for that person to receive the care that they deserve. And every single day you train, you are one step closer to that person you are becoming. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
I told you in the car, there's an anointing on your life. Did you know that?
What?
I said there's an anointing on your life. know that.